think from distance, what I can recall, Samir, is from 2015 to 2020, you kind of build the business very patiently. It was, I think you almost kind of, you and health card a little bit disappeared, from the public view. Not very little conversation about health card, but steadily you decided to build MuscleBlaze. And you said private label, but eventually MuscleBlaze actually became a brand. And maybe later we'll talk about difference between, brand and private label, right? But what was were you clear at that time that, you want to try to build a really genuine, authentic product that the fitness goers will like and become their preferred choice?
Right. So basically, as I mentioned, we in healthcare, we were very clear that because we can't survive as a retailer, we had to build consumer brands.
Yeah.
And by, this whole topic of brand versus private label is very, very close to my heart. And to be honest, I am a very different person from compared to 11 to 15 versus what I've learned from this second phase of healthcare journey.
Right.
So I deeply think about brands and differentiation, all that. So basically the whole idea was we had to make a profitable business, and profitability will come from building consumer brands.
Yeah.
And consumer brands will require a very different way of thinking. It's not about distributing the brands. It's about fundamentally solving a problem for a customer.
Yeah.
It's the product that people will have to like. It's not about the distribution channel anymore. So that is the journey we took in 2015. And first challenge was to reorient the organization, right? Because, you're living in this whole tech world and everyone's doing cool tech stuff. But then basically we had to develop this whole product thinking capabilities. So there was a sports nutrition, there was a vitamin, and then there was a weight loss. So we were let's just kind of build 2-3 brands here. And then they will have a faster adoption online. We will try to sell them online using health card platform and eventually to grow.
Yeah.
So we started with these 3 spaces. MuscleBlaze became the front runner, where we had a lot of learnings in terms of sort of building the community, building a differentiated product and all that. And then other brand spaces have gone through a lot of iteration, but eventually they have arrived.
Got it. So since you said in this topic of, brands versus labels is very close to your heart.
Yeah.
I mean, in our Myntra journey, we also tried to build a bunch of in-house labels. I don't know, some are maybe brands, some are labels, but what is, how will you describe, what is the fundamental difference between brand and label?
So now I feel everything is a brand.
Right.
So Mukesh, you are a brand. I am a brand. Maybe Abhishek is a brand. So fundamentally, what are the 2-3 things that primarily you stand for, right? That defines the brand. And when I say brand, you consistently deliver on what your promise is.
Right.
So look, maybe when people think about Mukesh, they will think at strong entrepreneur, problem solver. Maybe somebody will be a diligent worker. So basically you build these brand choices. So whether you like it or not like it, your brand will be formed.
Right.
Question is, you have to take control of what is the direction that you want to shape it. So slightly philosophical there.
Sure.
But ultimately, from a consumer brand's perspective, I believe that people don't think about differentiation enough. So I think about this as a 3-level funnel. So there are a lot of needs that keep arising in the market. Then there would be solutions which have to cater to these needs. In the solution, certain businesses will say, I will over-index on this solution, or I will cater to this consumer segment. And some other businesses will take a different approach.
Yeah.
And what you decide to do and what you decide not to do is ultimately the brand choices that you make.
Right.
So even, for example, while people don't think about, let's say, Flipkart or Amazon as 2 different brands, but fundamentally there's a differentiation.
Yeah.
There's certain people who will get over-indexed, maybe certain category of users or certain people.
Yeah.
And those are the subtleties that you have to think about. And I'm going to be very honest, from 11 to 15, I had no idea. Every revenue was similar to me. And it was just there's the P&L, and you're not thinking about these things. So, but once you get into this consumer business, I actually deeply care about differentiation. And then deciding that this is what we will stand for and put all our energies on what you stand for and let go of things that you can't win. And that to me is sort of the brand building journey.
So you're saying you need to be super clear about what you stand for, very consistent in every single stance, and that needs to be differentiated. And I'm guess what I'm going to say, if it is not differentiated, then it's a label. It may still stand for something, it's still consistent, but because it's not differentiated, it's a label.
No, because label, the fundamental thesis is because you had some other structural advantage of distribution. You're making that product available, but you're not actually going into the consumer need to be able to do any differentiation. So you don't need differentiation because your channel of distribution itself is a differentiation.
So you have some other related advantage, which is has no direct bearing. Like for example, Myntra has a huge amount of traffic, so that's the advantage.
Right.
So whatever you put there is going to sell. And now if that, now you can choose to build something which is highly differentiated, which is a slow, long, patient game. Or you can just put literally a label on it. Source it cheaply, and you don't really need to spend any money on marketing, etc. So your margin still could be pretty healthy.
That's right. So to me, I think this going deeper into consumer insights, because look, ultimately, when you build these physical products or any brand, you don't have a consultative selling model. You can't communicate the difference. So basically, the product has to deliver what you have generally been communicating. And over time, let's say you keep doing it year on year, that compounding of trust goes in. And basically, brand becomes a strong pull brand. It just eases out the decision making of a consumer.
So, in your mind, how long was the journey of where you think MuscleBlaze went from maybe a private label of health card to a brand in its own right?
So I think I would break it down into 2-3 phases. So basically, look, it was a private label to begin with. In 2015, we started to invest in R&D. R&D came slightly later. But basically go deeper into what products are we selling, right? And what is it, how do we source the quality of protein and this and that? And then what is it that people are looking for? How are we solving that? So that phase itself took 1 to 2 years. That was the first phase of transition that basically, look, MuscleBlaze is now providing genuinely good products and all that. And second, basically, second phase was the communication or marketing phase in terms of communicating to customers that this is what we stand for. So that is where I think when we did the first campaign, and it's a pretty amazing campaign, and I keep looking back at this campaign whenever I need to pump up. So there's a Tum Nahi Samjhoge campaign that we did, and it did wonders for the brand, where people, people did not, so there was no Indian brand, which was basically motivating people to sort of work out. And we came with this insight that this whole fitness journey is quite lonely and underappreciated. And we did this campaign to capture that emotion. And then MuscleBlaze got tied to that. So that became sort of the second phase of brand building. And finally, the third phase came in, where we actually went very deep into R&D. And we have a patented technology which actually solves for absorption problem of protein. And that became like a large part of MuscleBlaze. So I think it has gone through 3 phases. One, basic product development. Second, communication. And third, going deeper into the
Got it. So doing all these fundamentals over probably 4 or 5 year period. So when you started in MuscleBlaze as a private label, at that time, I think the high quality whey protein in India was all imported, and there a lot of this, counterfeits or less quality control. And today, fast forward, 7-8 years, MuscleBlaze is by far the largest whey protein brand in India. It is made in India, although made in India is so cool now, but this is made in India. People have been, millions of people consume. It's available everywhere. Then distribution across online, offline, it reaches, far and wide. It's really trusted brand. So must feel pretty good, right, to be able to create this brand really from scratch, and which is just not a label, but really truly stand for something as a clear differentiation.
No, absolutely. I, definitely proud, really proud of what we've done. And I think this whole, if you look at this industry, a lot of the products which were used were coming from, imports. So for us to be able to create our own product where we have a patented technology, where our product is better rated than some of these foreign imported products, really makes us proud. And it's a true sort of, really proud of. Basically, we've created differentiation and gone deep. And we are excited that we are also want to introduce this product range to outside India.